Okay, so welcome everyone. Good evening to Gita Gya Level 2, Chapter 8. Let's take darshan of the Supreme Lord. Jagannath Baladev Subhatra. This is the Gaur Nitai from Melbourne, ISKCON Melbourne. Radha Vallabha deities from ISKCON Melbourne. And they also have Jagannath Baladev Subhatra. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Where is the prayers? We chant the prayers here. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatavine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaurabhakta. Everyone, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, that's it. Thank you, everyone. So, as usual, please set your intention, submit your prayers, seeking blessings from Sri Krishna and all of the Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, so we can understand the subject matters today. And please remove all your distractions, phones on silent mode or face down, room close. Okay, have your water next to you. So if you need a break, you can say that you are be right back, and then let me know once you are back so that I don't call your name and wait. Okay? Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So let's have somebody to read the introduction. Let me go with the name list here. Somasundram Prabhu.
In this world, men are not meant for quarreling like cats and dogs. Men must be intelligent to realize the importance of human life and refuse to act like ordinary animals. A human being should realize the aim of his life, and this direction is given in all Vedic literatures, and the essence is given in Bhagavad Gita. Vedic literature is meant for human beings, not for animals. Animals can kill other living animals, and there is no question of sin on their part. But if a man kills an animal for the satisfaction of his uncontrolled taste, he must be responsible for breaking the laws of nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly explained that there are three kinds of activities according to the different modes of nature: the activities of goodness, of passion, and of ignorance. Similarly, there are three kinds of eatables also: eatables in goodness, passion, and ignorance. All of this is clearly described, and if we properly utilize the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, then our whole life will become purified, and ultimately we will be able to reach the destination which is beyond this material sky.
Thank you, Prabhu. So that's what we are here for, to learn chapter 8, to see how to go to the destination which is beyond this material sky. So before that, as usual, we will have to recap chapter 7. So I hope somehow, somewhat, you have revised or browsed or glanced through the PDF for chapter 7. What is the topic for chapter 7, please?
Knowledge of the Absolute.
Very good. What is knowledge about? What knowledge is this? Why this chapter came about?
Luminous knowledge and phenomenal knowledge.
Very good. Okay. What else? Why Krishna gave this knowledge? There must be a purpose.
How to think of Krishna?
Yes, only when we know about that person, then we have something to think about him. Okay, about Krishna. Okay, so how did we get to know about Krishna in chapter 7? What did Krishna say?
Bhakti.
Okay, what is the method of knowing about Krishna?
By learning his past life,
Okay, how do we do that?
learning from
Thinking of
a
him,
spiritual master.
Okay, some more. How Krishna expect us to learn this knowledge?
thinking of him,
Okay, how?
meditate,
Okay, so the goal is to think of him, to meditate upon him. But how? How to gain knowledge about him? To do this thinking and meditating. How?
hear about him,
Yes, hearing, Shravanam. Okay, just hear. And who do we hear from?
From the other devotees, and also
Okay,
the
from,
well
of course,
the
if you
the
are, yes. Sorry, Prabhu. Continue, Prabhu.
from devotees, and also the spiritual master, which is satisfied by others MC gurus.
Okay, very good. So Arjuna was fortunate that he could hear directly from Krishna. Okay. And for us, we could hear from the representatives of Krishna, spiritual masters. Okay, very good. So what Krishna explained next? So first he said you have to hear. And that what did Krishna say after that? What did he teach? Or
He
what did
said
he declare?
he said that also people like foolish and like people who are desire majority of materialistic life can't understand him. Only who are pure devotees who are thinking of me can understand. Only pure bhakti only can understand Krishna.
Okay. So before that, this is from verse 1 and 3, right? Because we skipped some verses for level 2. The next was we covered text 4 and 12. So what did text 4 and 12 cover? Krishna declared something about himself, how he controls certain things or how he maintains certain things. So anybody can recall anything from that? What did he tell about himself?
Earth, water, fire, ether,
The
mind,
five
intelligence.
elements.
Okay, all right.
Also, my Krishna's material energy.
Okay. So basically, Krishna was talking about, so-called his job descriptions. Okay, he doesn't have a job to perform, but what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to give you clue. What was he talking about? What does he do? What's his role? Okay, 5 gross elements, 3 subtle elements, material energy. Okay, you're all are there. You're all are there. So what did Krishna explain next in the next segment? Okay, exploiting of material resources. We are doing it. Okay, the jivas are doing it. Krishna was declaring his opulence as maintainer and the supreme personality. So at this point, what do you recall? There was a nice example given. If I give you further clue, you will get the answer very easily. I know you all can do it. There was an example given. Krishna presented in everything around us. Correct. Okay, somebody got it here. So what is this about? Who can put it in words? Senang type senang I want to hear you. Anybody can tell? Answer
He's a
sudah boleh.
maintainer. He's a
Yes.
maintainer. If he's the one who maintain everything on his resident on inside him.
Okay,
Like a
everything rests upon him like?
Garbhodaya Mahatattva,
No.
Garbhodaya Kasi,
This example, Prabhu. Can you really? Everything rests upon him like?
pearl,
Yeah, pearls on. What is the
string,
exact verse?
pearl and string.
Yes, correct here. Lord's position as thread holding the pearls together. He is the maintainer. We can't see him, but he is there. Okay, so next one. So he's talking about all the spiritual energies and material energies. He's talking about superior energy, inferior energy, and who are we? Where do we fall? Superior or inferior? Superior means spiritual energies, yeah? Okay. Inferior means all the matters, materials. Okay, so where are we? What's our status?
Marginal level.
Marginal. What does marginal
Marginal
mean?
level.
What does marginal mean? What does it mean? What does it mean by that, marginal? We are spirit soul. Okay, so therefore in quality, we are one with Krishna. Okay, but we are also matter, and we are because we are more superior to the matters, the material elements around us. Like many of you has mentioned about exploitation. You are utilizing the resources. We are trying to lord of the nature, lord over the nature. Therefore, we are called marginal because we are spiritual, but not as good as Krishna in quantity, but we still have some form of control of this material nature. So that is why we are called marginal. Okay, so the next one is, we are moving to this segment. We are bound by the three modes of material nature. Remember, the puppets are just like how they move here and there, we also move accordingly. Okay, so no matter how much we try, we always fall into the trap of these three modes, material nature, and we act accordingly. We perform our activities and we reap the reactions based on these three modes. All right, so Krishna declares that he is the controller of the modes of nature, and he says, how easy is that to cross this material ocean? What did he say about it?
By practicing detachment and also
Before
bhakti.
that, what did he say? What did he say about the difficulty level of crossing this material ocean? Okay, which verse is that?
Material energy is very powerful.
Can you read that verse, Prabhu? Did you find it?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, please.
Because consequently, his release from the clutches of material nature is very difficult, even though the material nature is an inferior energy, because material energy is ultimately conducted by the supreme will, which the living entity cannot overcome.
Okay, are you
Inferior,
reading the purport, Prabhu, or the verse?
the purpose, Mataji.
Under which text?
For text 14
Okay, very good. Can you please read the verse?
was just now I read it, what, Mataji, or the
Just now you read the purport, right? Can
yeah,
you
Mataji.
read for us the verse itself, the translation?
This divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it.
Yes, very good. So how do we cross beyond it? Everyone?
Surrender to Krishna.
Surrender
Yes,
to
the keyword is surrender. So before that, yeah, I hope you all remember something important here at this part here. This hearing, right? It may sound very simple. Just hear, right? Just pasang telinga and just hear, right? So is it that simple? Somebody has mentioned earlier. I think I saw, hang on, yeah. Who is that? Bhakti is both easy and difficult. Very good. Okay. Okay, so why is it both easy and difficult? Because it's easy because you do not need any qualifications. All right. Number two, it is still challenging because one may endeavor, right? But only the rare souls will understand Krishna in truth. Okay, Krishna says, out of many thousands, one may endeavor for perfection. We will all can try, no problem. We all can try. Of those who achieve perfection, hardly anyone knows me in truth. So, for example, Krishna delivered Bhagavad Gita to everyone in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But how many? Only a handful of them have actually grasped the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, and some still see Krishna as enemy. All right, so that is that example we can give. So here, the Bhagavad Gita knowledge is available for everyone. Everybody comes and learns and goes. But how many actually learn that in depth and actually realizes it and practice it and apply in their life? That is rarity. Such great soul is very rare. Okay, such knowledge is very rare. Such great soul is very rare. Okay, so the next one here, okay, so we already entered here, right? Krishna controls the modes of nature. So Krishna say, we surrender. So once we naik the boat, Krishna as the captain can take us swiftly across the ocean. All right, that's the word Krishna used, right? Swiftly. Okay. All right. So talking about the surrender, what do you recall? What did we cover after that? What kind of people surrender and what kind of people don't surrender? Okay, that's the Prabhu. Very good. Who do you call this generally? Those who surrender. What is the term we give them? And what is the term we give to those who don't surrender? Anyone? It's called Sukriti, right? What is Sukriti in English? Senang question, ah. We haven't entered chapter 8 yet. This one should be very fast, fast, fast. We should go. Pious people, right?
Those who don't accept him is called foolish.
So there are 4 kinds of pious people. There are 4 kinds of impious people. So basically, you have to segmentize them like this. And then you give who are these impious people and who are these pious people. So let's start with impious people. Somasundram Prabhu, now you can share. Give us the list of the impious people. You can also read from the verse, no problem. Text 15. Okay, please open your PDF. Please open your notes. Okay, let's do this together, all right? Only when you speak and respond, I will feel inspired to speak more.
Foolish, lowest among mankind, knowledge stolen by illusion, and those who partake the atheistic nature of demons.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Prabhu. So now next, give me the 4 people of pious category. Okay, let me ask somebody else. Lakshmi
I'll tell
Mataji.
Mataji.
Okay, Sivaranjani Mataji.
The distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the absolute.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
Okay, so of those who surrender, who did Krishna prefer? Lakshmi Mataji?
Those who are really searching for the knowledge of Krishna himself.
Yes, those who surrender, Krishna prefers the jnani best because they are seeking knowledge. And why is that so? Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Why is that so? Krishna prefers the jnani among these 4 pious people. What happens when these people who are seeking knowledge gets the knowledge? What happens to them? What do they do after that, subsequently? And that is why Krishna likes them. Yes, once they get the knowledge, they engage in devotional service. That is the goal. Okay? All right. What else? Okay, next we went to Saran to demigods. So text 23 and 25. Okay, yes, Prabhu. 23 and 25. Okay, so in these 2 verses, what did Krishna say about demigod worship?
Those who are very desire on materialistic nature or materialistic benefit, they are the only one who worship the demigods for the foolish desire, which is a materialistic energy.
Okay, so what is wrong? Okay, what is wrong? Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Very good. So what is wrong with these people who seek material benefits from demigods?
Instead they are asking for devotion or total surrender, they're only asking for the materialistic only. Just they are
Yes.
yes,
Carry on.
for their only purpose is they getting money, power, and also the luxury life instead of asking for devotional or total surrender knowledge or spiritual knowledge.
Okay, very good. So, what is the problem in getting these material benefits?
which is not gonna last forever.
Very good. Okay, very nice. All right, thank you, Prabhu. So, move on. And then, how did Krishna end the chapter 7, which is the opening for chapter 8? So, here we start by, let me explain a bit. Yeah. So, first he said, we need to think of him. All right. And to think of him, we need to know him. To know him, we have to hear. And what did we hear from Krishna? That he is the maintainer and the controller of both spiritual and material energy. All right. And he's also said that this material creation is functioning under the influence of the three modes material nature. And it is difficult to cross over this ocean of material nature unless somebody surrender. And then he went on to say, what kind of people will surrender and what kind of people wouldn't surrender. And people who wrongly surrender to or surrender to the wrong, surrender wrongly to the devas because they ask for material benefit, they end up having limited or temporary benefits. And finally, he said, what did he say? About, ultimately, when you have all this surrender, right, where is it going to take you at the end? Knowing all this information, how is it going to benefit us? We can think of Krishna at the time of death. Okay, so can you see the flow? This is the flow. This is the benefit. Getting all this information is supposed to help us to remember Krishna at death. All right, so with that, we are entering chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme. This chapter is basically talking about various factors that will determine the soul's destination when it leaves the body. Okay, so in this chapter, Krishna will talk about Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Yoga Mishra Bhakti means devotional service mixed with yoga. Means mixed. There is mixed and there is pure. Okay, so recently I've been doing some wedding shopping for my brother, right? So I saw there is pure silk and there is mixed silk. Then I was like inquiring, what is this mixed silk about? So everything you have pure thing and you have mixed thing. People always go for pure because that is the most authentic thing. All right. So similarly, there is Yoga Mishra Bhakti means devotional service mixed with yoga. Okay. And then there is unmixed pure devotional service, which is Suddha Bhakti. So I hope you are jotting down, yeah? Shuddha Bhakti and Yoga Mishra Bhakti. It is all, the pure one is also called Kevala Bhakti. Okay, no contamination. When I say contamination, it means it is not like, okay, Krishna, I give you one this huge garland. Can you please let me pass my exam? So this is mixed. You are still pious because you are still coming to God because that's what we learn in chapter 7. But we are not pure yet because it is still mixed with some self-interest. But if you give that flower, oh Krishna, this is going to make you look so beautiful. I hope you are pleased with this, with my humble offering, and forgive my offenses if there is any. All right. And this is pure devotional. Okay. And so basically, this is all about, and then Krishna will go on to factors that determine soul's destination after it leaves the body. All right, so how this chapter 8 came about is because of the last two verses that Krishna said in chapter 7. So that we will see how it links to chapter 8. So before that, as usual, I would like to show you what are the verses that we covered in level 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we are covering all this as well. We are repeating the verses, revision. And I'll also go slightly deeper on that. Okay. And some of it, we are covering more than this actually, but it will be in a picture form or graphic form. Okay, we won't be reading the verses. So these are the two verses that Krishna ended chapter 7 with. Can we have somebody to read this quickly? Vijay Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Intelligent person who are enduring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they are entirely know everything about transcendental activities.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So this is how we would like to introduce the connect or connect the chapter 7 and chapter 8. So the last two verses is chapter 29 and 30. If you have Bhagavad Gita, you can actually open it already. Okay. So here, Krishna mentioned three terms here: Brahman and transcendental activities. Brahma means here. Where's the Brahma? Here. Brahma. Okay. And then Adhyatmam and Karma. Brahman here. Adhyatma Karma means transcendental activities. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Next is this. Saras Mataji.
Shall I read?
Mataji.
Okay, those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So this is the next three. Earlier three phrases. Three words. Now 3 words. Okay. So Krishna covered 6 technical terms in 29 and 30. And pursuant to this, Arjuna will start asking questions on 8 words. Okay. So here, right, you have 8. Okay, yeah, let me explain after this. Yeah. Okay, let me request Lakshmi Mataji to read the translation.
Arjuna inquired, "O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are the fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me."
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So there are 6 words that Krishna mentioned earlier, and Arjuna is asking some question on those words, and he's also asking others. Okay, what is Brahman? What is self? What is fruitive activities? What is material manifestation? And what are demigods? Okay, so you will notice that Krishna will cover 6 questions. Okay, we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will have another 1, 2, 3 later in the next verse. Krishna will cover 7 words very briefly, but he will cover the last one in the next 22 slokas, and that's how important it is. So which question is the most important from the ones that Arjuna asked? You will see now. Yeah. Okay. So this is the remaining questions. Sivaranjani Mataji.
Who is the Lord of sacrifice and how does he live in the body, O Madhusudana? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death?
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So, Arjuna asked for clarification of these terms and thus asked 8 questions. Okay, first Krishna will answer 7 questions and then discuss 8 question in detail. So the main subject matter of this chapter, Lord Krishna is answering the question 8. How can one know Lord Krishna at the time of death? Okay, before going to that, Krishna will answer the others. All right, so this is the most important question. Yeah. Okay, so this answers has been put in a table form. You can actually read from text 3 and 4. One person can read the text 3 and 4 while the rest of us can actually look at the table. Who would like to volunteer? Chapter 8, text 3 and 4 from the Bhagavad Gita. Anybody else having Bhagavad Gita in your hand?
Yes,
I can.
Mataji.
Okay, Lakshmi Mataji. Mataji?
Okay. 8.3. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "The indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of material bodies of the living entities is called karma, or fruitive activities." Text 4. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called Adibhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods like those of the sun and moon, is called Adideva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the Supersoul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adiyagna, the Lord of Sacrifice.
Okay. All right. So that's how Krishna answered the question in 2 verses. All right. So now we go to the focus of the chapter. Okay. Let me see that I need to explain anything. Okay, so I hope this is pretty straightforward, right? Brahman means spirit. We are spirit soul. We are tiny living entity. We are indestructible, just like Krishna, because we come from him. But we are all the small Brahmans. Okay, we are not Para Brahman. Para Brahman is Krishna, which is Jivas, tiny sparks. And what is Adhyatma? Control of the body. Of course, you can control the body. Okay, but there is 2 consciousness, material consciousness and spiritual consciousness. In condition like in material consciousness, we think that we are the controller, and that is our nature. We are meant to control this, can control that. But spiritually speaking, the eternal nature of the spirit soul is to serve. So that is the full knowledge. Okay, so that's the difference. Yeah, as Adhyatma, we have 2 consciousness, material consciousness and spiritual consciousness. And Arjuna asked, what is karma? Karma means whatever activities that binds us, that gives a material body in our next life. So that is karma. Adibhuta means constantly changing physical world, this world, entire world. Okay, supreme demigod, Adi Deva. Krishna is referring to the universal form. You know, he shows in chapter 11 that everything resides in him. That he says Adi Deva. Arjuna's next question, Adi Yajna. Adi Yajna means sacrifice. Yeah, Yagya. So he is the enjoyer of sacrifice. The actual word is Purusha. Mataji, could you read the Sanskrit text on this? It says Purusha, right? 8.3. 8.4? Purushas?
8.4, Mataji.
Yes. It says Purushas cha. Actually, it should be right together. Purushas cha adi daivatam. So if you look at the word-to-word translation, Purusha means the universal form, including all the demigods like the sun and moon, cha and adi daivatam called adi daiva. So this is the actual phrase. Okay. So this is why you should have Bhagavad Gita in your hand, so you can refer word to word. Okay, so I hope you are also doing it on your own learning process. Okay, and where does he reside as a super soul? In the heart of all. Okay, so we are covered that already. So we move on. This is a revision verse, chapter 8, text 5. That's Radhan Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. 8.5 translation. And whoever, at the end of his life, quits his body remembering me alone at once, attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt.
Thank you, Prabhu. So which question Arjuna Krishna is answering now?
The 8th question, Mataji.
8th question, yes. How to attain him? Okay, thank you. Okay, all right. So now this verse is stressing the importance of Krishna consciousness. So Krishna says, whoever can remember him at the point of death, he will attain the supreme destination. That is what he meant by attains my nature. All right. So it is said that we have to be Krishna conscious at the end of life. Not only at the end of, to be Krishna conscious at the end of life, then our entire life or our remaining life should be Krishna conscious. Only then we can write the exam very good. We can fly, we can pass with flying colors. All right, so the example given here is, who is this person? It's a very famous personality, right? And some more, this is a revision sloka. I hope you all know. Who is this person?
Bhishma.
Yes, Dev. Okay, what happened to him?
Arrow bat.
Yeah.
Lie dead.
Yes.
Bed of
Do you
arrows.
know what is the speciality of Bhishma Dev?
Yeah, he only can die as he wish for. When he's wish for, then only he can die.
Okay, so he can choose the timing to leave the body. It is called Icha Mrityu. He got it from his father, Shantanu. Okay, and how old was he when he left the body?
Yeah, 200 years.
200. Wow, very good, Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu, could you explain what happens here? What happens here?
Um, he was killed. He was defeated by Sikandi because she got a boon from Lord Shiva that she is the only one can defeat Bhishma on that time.
Mm, okay. So how long was he lying on this bed of arrows? It's many days, right? Do you know how many days?
Remember that one too,
Okay.
Mataji. But I know one thing that after they got the throne of Hastinapur for months, I guess.
For 54 days. He was on this 54 days. And what was he doing the entire time? This is all
He
in
was
Bhagavatam.
meditating.
No, he was speaking to somebody. He was giving instruction to somebody. Okay.
Yudhishthira.
Yes, the next king. Okay, he knows. So he was instructing Yudhishthira until the moment for him to leave the body comes. It's called Uttarayana. Okay, and then Krishna comes. He looked at Krishna and he said this. He said that one should contemplate on the form of the Lord just before he sheds his body. But I am so blessed that I have the Lord of Lords by my side. What a glorious way to leave this body. Okay, so thus, Bhishma Dev worshipped Krishna. He became silent and his thoughts flowed towards Krishna as he left his body. So this is how he left the body. It's a very good example. That is another story also at the end of the class. Okay, it's called Ajamila. I mean, how thinking of Krishna at the time of death saved us. Okay, so the application here is that constant and incessant. Okay, how to remember Krishna at the time of death? This is the best method. Constant and incessant chanting of the holy name is the best process. And that is why in this chapter, in text 5 and text 6, Prabhupada mentioned the full Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 3 times. This is to stress the importance of this process. Why this process is important compared to other processes, that is what we're going to see later. Okay. Text 6. Vijay Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kundi, that state he will attain without fail.
Okay. So you all remember this, right? Lakshmi Mataji, would you like to explain what happens here in this slide? It's a revision slide, so I think the memory should be still fresh. Would you like to try, Mataji? Or you can talk about the frog and the fly. Or the man in the hospital.
Whatever the person has been thinking, the previous thoughts that he has are the cause of thoughts at the time of death. That's what I remember from the previous reading.
Yes, yes. Okay. Okay, great, Mataji. Go on. We want the consequence of that.
Consequence. What we have been thinking, that's what will come. What is making us worry the most? What is constantly in our thought? That's what will come into our mind while we are waiting for the death moment. So if you are worried about your family, maybe you will be only thinking of your family members. You are thinking of something that you desire. That's what comes to your mind when you are on the deathbed.
Okay. Yeah. Very good, Mataji. Thank you so much. That's very spontaneous and very impressive. Okay, so this is the general law at the time of death. What you think that you will become. Right now I can recall a class, I think it was last week's class. Gaurav, if you catch up on the live FB class from last week, you will see how Prabhu gave an example. Narada Muni was given a task to deliver a person. So Krishna told him to go down to the earth and bring somebody that he want to deliver. All right, so Narada Muni found a person, and then he called him, you need to come back. You are selected to come back to the spiritual world. Then he will say, oh no, I'm just going to, I think I just want to get married. Okay, you say, okay, let's get married, and then I will come back again. So he will come back, I think, after 10 years. Very fast, right? Very fast. Narada Muni spends time in the spiritual world, and on earth time moves very fast. Okay, so after 10 years he come knocking the door, and the man said, oh no, I got a baby, I need to wait for my baby to grow, because it's not nice for me to leave my wife and come. All right, so he said, come back after 10 years. Okay, then he will go and come back after 10 years. He was I think that the baby grow up. Now the son has got a child. All right, now he has to take care of the grandchildren or something like that. Unless you come back after another 10 years. So like this, it was going on until he dies. All right, I think until he dies, and he became a dog. Why? Because at the time of death, he's been thinking of the family at the time of death. So when Krishna said, never mind, let's give him a special discount. You just still call him, he can come back to spiritual world. So Narada Muni will go, you can still come back. Krishna give you a special allowance. Huh? Even if I'm dog, you can still ask me, allow me to come to a spiritual world. Yes, you come. Okay, this is just a story, right? So he said, oh no, I cannot come. My children and the grandchildren, they're very irresponsible. They always leave the house open and go out. So who is going to take care of the property and the wealth that I have accumulated my entire life? No, you go, Narada Muni, I'm going to take care of this house. So he will never ever will go back to the spiritual world. Okay, because he's always bound to the material things around him. Okay, so same thing. Then there are many examples that Prabhupada has actually shared, that a person who has died actually grown as tree or born as dog around the house. Okay, this is what happens when they are thinking material things at the time of death. Okay, so we have to be very careful. Now, so text 8.6, to conclude, it actually establishes the process of changing one's nature at the critical moment of death. Remember what kind of pain that we go through at the time of death. It's about 20,000 or 40,000 stinging of Scorpio. That's how painful it is. All right. So to remember Krishna at the time of death, it's not a mental trick. You cannot say the entire life you're enjoying, at the time of death, I am going to think of Krishna. So you can't trick the mental like that. Okay, it has to be cultivated the entire life. Okay, so how to make sure that we think of Krishna at the time of death? We have to practice remembrance during one's life, not just at death. Okay, and what happens here? What story is this? Example of Bharat Maharaj becoming a deer. Do I need to repeat the story? Are you all familiar? Is there anybody who never heard the story? Bharat and deer? Bharat becoming a deer?
No, Mataji, I haven't heard this story before.
I wanted to ask you to narrate. I thought you know. Okay, anybody else? Who knows this story? Jangan takut dah. Dasarathan Prabhu, do you know this story?
Mataji, what I can recall is he was meditating and he saw a deer. Is it something like that?
Yes, correct, Prabhu. Carry on.
But I can't remember the detail of it.
Okay, you tell us, then I will fill in the gaps.
Okay, I remembered what was the case. He was meditating. Then suddenly he saw a deer, I guess. And then that's all, Mataji. I'm really sorry.
Ini macam trailer je ni. Okay, Sarus Mataji. I sure remember. Sarus Mataji, do you remember?
I'll try. While he was meditating, there's a pregnant deer One side was the tiger and the other side was the river.
Correct.
So to escape from didn't know what to do in trying to save the baby. He jumped into the water, and then the baby came out, and I think Bharat Maharaj took care of the baby. So when he was about to die, he was thinking, who is going to care for the baby deer?
Yes.
So he's born as a deer in the next life.
Okay. And then?
Very inaccurate, I suppose.
Very good. So far, so good, Mataji. Next. Next season, what happened?
I can't remember that part.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Mataji. So that was the first season. The first season, what happened? Like Mataji narrated, okay? In the critical situation, he had to save the baby. So when he saved the baby, he took care of the baby deer, right? Doe, right? What do you call a baby deer? Foal, is it? So in that process, he developed very strong attachment towards the baby. All right. So the attachment was so strong that at the time of death, he was thinking about the baby. Who's going to take care of the baby, like Mataji narrated. So consequently, he was born as a deer, but he realized, oh my God, I was such actually something to talk about. Bharat Maharaj was he actually renounced that world, and he wanted to go to attain self-realization, and that's how he renounced himself to the forest. But what happens is that his meditation process, his renunciation, his devotional practice was obstructed by the attachment to the baby. So he took the birth of the baby deer. Now what happened is that in rare occasions, people can remember their previous birth, and because he was such a great devotee, he was able to remember what happened to him, and he knows what happened, how he has wasted that moment, right? So despite being born as a deer, he actually made himself taken shelter in the hermitage of sages, where what he did was totally listening to the kathas, taking their prasadam, and being around the sages. So with this, he actually accumulated the spiritual credits. So at the time of that, he remembered Krishna, and the deer left the body. The next birth, he took a human form. And in that birth, his name was Jada Bharat. Jada means a person without any feelings, any connections, any attachments. Okay, no emotional connections or physical connection, material connection with anything. So basically, he was living as a ascetic person, like a madman, right? So, um, so in Bhagavatam, there's a very detailed stories about how he came across a king, and there was exchanges of conversations. He was preaching to the king. So all that happened, and then at the time of death, he was able to remember Krishna, and finally he went back. So it's very good story how he actually renounced everything. Okay, so this is a story usually will be given to explain this verse. Okay, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Okay, so we also need to observe this, and we also must share this information to others. Can you imagine if we do not have this knowledge, what kind of things will come to our mind when we die? Okay, is there anything that you all want to share, or if people have told you what they saw when they were about to die? If I may share, my grandma, when she was dying, she actually had the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra constantly playing on the altar. She's not a devotee. She wasn't a devotee like us, like not a ISKCON devotee, but she was almost a vegetarian at the time of that, and she's always been a Krishna devotee. But at the almost end of the time, she saw some black forms are coming and like going to take her, but they are not able to come in. She used to share information like that. So this is way before I started my journey in ISKCON. So after I came, then I can relate what my grandma was saying. Okay, so So if there's anybody who have this kind of stories, you can always share, yeah? So don't worry, okay? Feel free.
Mataji,
Yes.
my grandma also shared the same thing. She said that there were few people who are standing just outside of the house.
Mm.
That time during like I think 2 days before she passed away. So she
Mm.
was literally telling to me that.
Yeah, okay. So all this, I think we will see at the end of this class now. Who are these people who are coming for us? Okay, and why they are not able to come to us? Why they are like stay out, something like that. Okay, all right.
I
So
also
we
heard similar story like that
yes, Prabhu.
because
Oh,
I saw the one lawyer. She also a Krishna devotee. She told a story that in USA there's also a guy named Prakash that he was on deathbed three
mm,
times. He also associate with a he also participate with the ISKCON in US. So
no,
what the he he also on fall on bed lah. He got disease. Three
mm,
times he told after he wake up from the bed, he told one of these devotee. He said three times the Yamadutas came to take his soul.
mm,
He said once he get up, he's cured. He said he saw three times Yamadutas try to take. The
mm,
fourth one they tried, and the person saw the Vishnu Dutas
mm.
on the fourth time. Then when they saw the Vishnu Dutas, the Yamadutas, they go away already.
Oh wow. This is really like the Ajamila story. So he's got a
Yeah,
second chance.
yeah, he got a second chance. I saw the video. She said that it's happened in US, somewhere
Mm.
in US.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very inspiring. So yeah, so this kind of stories will actually increase our faith and confidence that uh this is how our life should be. This is how we should fill our life with. Otherwise, what could be more worthy to fill our life and thoughts, right? So at the end, we want to go to a higher destination or for a better body or a better life. Of course, ultimately we want to go to Krishna, but we wouldn't know how many lifetime we need to take. Okay, so now from 8.6, we are going to 8.7, but we want to see what is the linking thing between 8.6 to 8.7. So in that way, we always have a continuation, right? Right. So now Arjuna may think remembering may be better advice than fighting. Why should I fight? I can just die thinking of Krishna, right? So here Krishna is going to clear this misconception in text 8.7. Krishna does not recommend giving up prescribed duties. So Krishna, if you can see from the beginning until now, he has been very consistent. He has been telling that it is easy to achieve Krishna through devotional service and this and that, but duties must be performed. This one, no discount. Okay, you must do this. Okay, all right. So let's go move on. Somasundram Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, the English translation.
Therefore, therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt.
Very good. Thank you, Prabhu. So earlier Krishna has given us the theories. Now he's giving us the application, how to apply. Now Lord promises the goal. If you do this, if you apply this in this manner, then you are going to achieve this goal. Okay, so this is important instruction. Lord Krishna is not telling us to give up all work and only think of him. He says, continue doing our work, but think of him always. Okay, so how can we possibly do this? The easiest method is chanting of the holy name. You can do this every day, morning, night, evening, anytime. You have work, you don't have work, you have exam, you don't have exam, you have children, you don't have children, you are in condo or terrace house, you're working at an MRT or driving. In whatever we are doing, we can always find time to do this. We don't have to run to forest. We don't have to look for kusagras. We don't have to sit for many years. We don't have to do the yoga asanas, the breathing pranayamas and all those, but you still achieve the final destination. Okay, so that is why Krishna came as Mahaprabhu to give this easiest method in Kali Yuga, because he knows what's the condition of the people in Kali Yuga. Okay, so Arjuna thought, okay, let me just remember Krishna, then I can go back to him. So Krishna said, yes, you can think of me, but you still have to do your duty. Okay, there is no other way about it. Now, how do we do this? That's mentally, physically, and intellectually, and then you get the result. So mentally, what you should do, think of me in the form of Krishna. And by chanting Hare Krishna, this is the practical method. And what do you do with your physical body? With your physical body, you carry out the prescribed duties. For Arjuna, it was fighting in the war. For us, the whatever duty that is be given to us, you work or you serve the family in whatever way. All right. And then intellectually means the mind and intelligence fixed on me. Okay. And then finally, you get the result, freedom from all material contamination. And you are given the promise that you will surely attain me. Okay. Now, I would like to ask you all something. How do you allocate some time to hear to some lectures other than the Sunday class, right? Throughout your week, do you engage in hearing classes either from YouTube or SoundCloud or Facebook? Okay, so what I do. For a very long time, what I do is I have this thumb drive filled with Prabhupada's lectures. It used to be YouTube previously. Now it's in thumb drive. You have hundreds of lectures inside there. I got this many years back, and it comes with a big book, like a thick book. All right, it has all the Prabhupada's lectures there with the number and the lectures. It could be a Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita or conversations or no, I don't think there's letters. Okay, so it is actually audio of Prabhupada. So what I do is I use the thumb drive in my car, and it runs like radio. So I usually spend 40 minutes to office and 40 to 50 minutes if it's jammed to come back. And these lectures will run like radio in my car. Okay. So of course it is best to sit and listen and take down notes. You focus. Yeah. But in our rushing life, okay, it used to be my cooking and then I'm listening. Okay. So now ever since I started driving last year, I spend this way to listen to Prabhupada. So sometimes I can also listen to Guru Maharaj classes. So like this, you can actually incorporate these kind of things in your daily life. So morning, fill your mind either reading Bhagavad Gita or hearing it. Okay, it's very good because Bhagavad Gita is the way of life. Okay, it's not about just how to pray or, like purely spiritual thing that generally people think about. It's about how to live life. All right. So, and when actually Krishna said, perform your duties, and how do you perform your duties? And the entire techniques, everything is given in Bhagavad Gita. So this is how I would like to strongly recommend for you to incorporate hearing in your life on daily basis. Little bit, 15 minutes, half an hour, or during your lunch, or sometime before you start your work, maybe your breakfast time or your lunch time. Okay, so just take some time to nourish your soul. Okay, so this is what I want to share at this moment. Yeah. Okay, so Krishna has given the theory. Krishna has already mentioned if you apply this, how to apply, and if you apply this, what is your result? And he's also telling us how to practice. So this is what we covered just now. Constantly chant Hare Krishna. Continue doing your duties. Means perform active devotional service through your prescribed duties. We are still working. We are attending classes. We are attending temple on Sunday feast. We are attending festivals. We are doing some kind of service in whatever interval that we get. Okay, so if you can't go out, so what do? You open your altar, you do your normal prayers, right? This is how you incorporate. If this is, for example, housewife, all right? So when you have your altar time in the morning and you incorporate your devotional service in that. So you try to put in the smallest way that you can, in whatever way that you can, and you increase. You keep it constant, and then once you're comfortable and you feel it is stable, then you increase. So only you know how much you can go. Okay, so don't be stagnant for a long time. You have to move forward. You have to advance. Okay, so the more you chant, the more you hear, and the more association that you get from the other devotees, your advancement will be rapid. Okay, because we don't know how much time we have. Today I was with my dad and my mom was complaining that she's trying to listen to Bhagavad Gita classes and my dad was disturbing her. Like, why you're always on this YouTube and phone. So I told my dad, she's trying to do something for, towards the end of her life. You are disturbing her. Just you are not doing, but you're also disturbing her. So I said, this is the time you should actually engage already, because 20 years back when I was new to ISKCON, he was saying, okay, I'm not going to join now. I will join after when I will go into this once I retire, once I got my grandchildren, like that. Then I said, now you already got your grandchildren, but you're also sick. It's so difficult for him to even walk to the temple. We were going to the temple. He was very slow to walk because he had heart attack and he got stroke, all that. So I say, you see, we can never wait when we can take up devotion services. The urgency is now. We can never wait. I'm going to retire. I'm going to have my children. I'm going to settle this. I'm going to settle that. You'll never settle. It will never be settled. Even when Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj gave instruction to Prabhupada to go to the West and preach, Prabhupada, first thing he said, let India get independence first. This was very, very long ago. All right. And Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj said, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj is Prabhupada's spiritual master. He said, if you're going to wait for the problems in the world to stop, it will never stop. So the act is now. All right. So we may have old people in the house. We may be also taking things for granted. Let us do it later. Now I'll just do a little bit. Later I will take it up seriously. So we don't know how much time we have. Okay, commitments are always there, distractions are always there, problems are always there. So we have to hope on the boat now itself. Okay. So this is the important message, instruction to all men engaged in material activity. It is for us. It's totally for us. It's totally for us. Okay. All right. So this Bhagavad Gita is totally for us. Okay. To sum up this 8.5, 6, and 7. Okay. To attain Krishna, we must surrender to him. We must remember him at the time of death. At death, one will automatically remember the mood we cultivated throughout the life. The most effective means for fixing the mind on Krishna is Harinama Sankirtana. Okay, now we are going to various ways of remembering Krishna. Okay, so first is we are going to remember, we're going to see how to remember Krishna through meditation. Okay, we have to move on very fast here. Okay, we spend a lot of time on revision. Saras Mataji.
One who at the time of death fixes his life air between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga with an undeviating mind engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So here, Krishna is talking about how to attain Krishna at the time of death when we fix our life air between the eyebrows. So this is also covered in chapter 6, if you can remember. Okay, so Krishna is bringing it in to show how to remember Krishna through meditation. Okay, so this is called goal of Sat Chakra Yoga. Sat means 7, so we have 7 chakra, right? So this is Yoga Mishra Bhakti, remembrance through meditation. And how does this kind of people achieve Krishna? They engage in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion. Okay, and this is by the strength of yoga with an undeviating mind and all that. Okay, this is Ajna, right? So there is bhakti. Okay, there is bhakti, but it's mixed with yoga. Why this is for people who are practicing yoga where they lift the air to the eyebrow. Okay, this is special feature of yoga, and this is not encouraged or practical for general people. Not everybody can do this. Okay, however, what the point in this verse is that it's very clear that at the time of death, the mind must be fixed in devotion. That is the point. And how do you do that? You can have various ways, all very genuine ways. But this is the purpose. This is the goal. This is what you should do ultimately. So this is dhyana yogis. Dhyana, meditation. Now we are going to see remembering Krishna through knowledge. Actually, this is not the correct. Sorry, yeah, this is also meditation. This is dhyana. This is jnana. This is still under meditation. Can we have somebody to read? Lakshmi Mataji.
10 or 11, Mataji?
This is 11. Yeah.
Okay. Persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So from from text 9 to 13, it's all about Yoga Mishra Bhakti, which is remembrance through meditation. Okay, so it is still there. Okay, so who can enter the impersonal Brahman? These are the ones that are highlighted here. Those who are learned in Vedas, those who utter Omkara, those who practice celibacy, and these are great sages in renounced order of life. Okay, now let's go one by one, yeah? How many people can be learned in Vedas? Not many. It's not easy. Okay, and Omkara, if you remember in our chapter 7 last week, Krishna said, I am the Vedic syllable Om. Don't remember which verse is that. Chapter 7. Can anybody find before me? I am the syllables Om. Yeah, text 8. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. So because Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the prescribed mantra for this Kali Yuga, so the Om is also included in the Krishna because Krishna's name and Krishna is non-different. Okay, so the Om that we are chanting is already in the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, so that is not a problem. Now the next one, celibacy. In the modern system, it is difficult for people to observe celibacy in their life. So no celibacy is possible, and there is hardly a strict institution that is training people on that. Although we have some brahmacharya practices here and there, but it's difficult for general people to follow this. And that is why Mahaprabhu knows what is the situation in Kali Yuga. He recommends the chanting of Maha Mantra. So that is why the holy name, the chanting of holy name is also called the Yuga Dharma, the method of self-realization in this Yuga, Kali Yuga.
Mataji,
Yes.
so which means so the only thing while he can practice celibacy at the same time he chanting the Hare Krishna mantra also can help him to maintain the celibacy, right? Or it's nearly impossible, or
And it's not impossible, but like we all have, I mean, our movement also have brahmacharya. I'm sure the other movements also have brahmacharya. People are brahmacharis, right? But for general people, like it's not easy for most of the people in the world to observe celibacy. It's not possible. So when it is not made possible, so can't they achieve self-realization? So what happens to these people who are interested in realization, self-realization and God realization? So for such people, the holy names comes as the method of devotional service. So they can go on being a householder, they can go on carrying out their prescribed duties, and they can also continue to do their devotional practice. So these are the criteria of jnana yogis. And the point is not everybody can become a jnana yogi. You have to have the right facility, you have to have the right situation, opportunity. So it's difficult to come by for general people. But if you can practice celibacy as well as devotional service, that is good. That is good. Because I heard I think it's from my yoga teacher. She said there are some ways of sitting where you don't secrete your semens or something like that, and it will actually empower you in your intelligence. So it will subdue your sexual interest or need, and it will strengthen the mind, something like that. There are certain ways. So it's possible. It's possible. It's all
Yeah,
practice.
in
Mhm.
Vedic they call semen in another name is Vajra.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
So
it's possible actually by practice. Right. Okay, so let's move on. Requirements of such yoga. Okay, fine. All right, now we are going to see the pure bhakti. Earlier was mixed bhakti, now is pure bhakti. Remembrance through pure devotion. Let's have somebody to read, please. Sivaranjani Mataji. Did you read earlier? Was it? No, right? Okay.
I read, Mataji.
Yeah.
For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pratha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So, previous bhakti was, as I mentioned, it was mixed with other self-interests like karma, yoga, and dhyana. Okay, now this one, Kevala Bhakti or Ananya Bhakti, this is pure Bhakti. It has it involves very fixed concentration. So with this, you are able to obtain Krishna easily. All right, so it doesn't mean the other parts are not genuine. They are also genuine, but it is much easier to and more effective to remember Krishna through unalloyed love and devotion. Why? Because the karma yogi, they want to somehow fulfill some sort of sense gratification. I mean, this is called not karma yogi, karmi. Karmi means totally materialist. Okay, so this material, they desire sense gratification. Now, when it comes to jnana yogi, they desire relief from material miseries. They want to acquire this knowledge because they want to be free from material misery. Next is the yogi, the practitioners. Okay, they want to achieve some mystic abilities. So there are 8, right? Smaller than the smaller, bigger than the biggest. I think I covered this in previous class. Okay, whereas the pure devotee, they desire only the Lord's pleasure, and and they even ready to go to hell. Remember the Krishna's headache story, if you all remember. So the gopis, they are willing to go to hell at if Krishna is cured of his headache, even if it has to take their dust under their feet to put on Krishna's head to cure him, they don't mind going to hell. Okay, so I hope I have narrated the story. Okay, so that's pure devotional service. And these are the activities that devotees can do while they perform their other duties as well. Okay. So the application is, the practice of pure devotional service is the qualification for one to attain Lord's favor. So this is promised here. Okay, meaning, and it's also occasional, yeah, it's constant. Okay, not one day do, after 6 months, then come back again. No, constant. Something that you can do constantly, you can incorporate in your life every day at home. Okay, and these are some example. This is one example here. This is called, this personality is called Srila Bhakti Vinoda Thakur. Srila Bhakti Vinoda Thakur is the father of Prabhupada's spiritual master. Earlier, I mentioned about Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, who is Prabhupada's guru. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj's father. Okay. And we also have these personalities, Srila Prabhupada, his guru Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, his father, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Now, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur is given example here as a typical householder like all of us, but see how he has actually scheduled his life to incorporate devotional service. Okay, this is how he rests, 8 to 10, and then he wakes up and he writes, and then he rests, and then he chants, and then, okay, he's a magistrate, court magistrate. Okay, that's his job. He does correspondence, and then he spends time to study Shastra, and he does his morning chores, and he had court duties, and then he come back refresh at home, and then court duties, and then he attends to Shastra again, and then take prasadam, and 8 o'clock he goes to rest. So it is not impossible for a person to go to work and who has a family, he's got many children, and he can still spend time to do devotions. Okay, so this is an example. Okay, let's move on to 8:15. Dasradhan Prabhu.
8.15 translation. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So, this is basically to show that there is no rebirth for pure devotees. Okay, this is a revision sloka. Okay, this is talking about the personalist devotees who worship Supreme Lord in his personal form, and they remember Krishna at the time of death. And when they remember him at the time of death, they do not come back to this material world. There are two characteristics given about material world here. Okay, it is temporary and it is full of miseries. So opposing to that, the Vedic literatures explain how the spiritual world looks like. It is called avyakta and akshara, means it is beyond material vision and inexplicable. You cannot take a rocket or satellite to go and land on these spiritual planets. It needs a lot of spiritual credit or fire credit to advance to these planets. Number two, it's called Paramagati. It is the supreme destination and its destination for Mahatma. Mahatma is mentioned here. Who are these Mahatma? The Mahatmas are received in Parampara, meaning, they belong to the Parampara, the bona fide Parampara, whereby they receive knowledge, they receive the transcendental message from the realized devotees following the Parampara system. We did this in chapter 4. So I hope you remember that. Okay. And then because they had the guidance of the devotees from the Parampara coming from Krishna, they can have gradual development by developing the devotional service in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so this is the next step. Third, they will have highest absorption. Highest absorptions means here, highest perfection and absorption. They get so absorbed in Krishna consciousness that they do not have any desire for elevation to material or spiritual planets. Basically, they do not have any desires. They just want to serve Krishna. Okay, their only desire is never return to this material world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection, which means their only desire is to want Krishna and Krishna satisfaction. That's it. That is, for them, that is the highest perfection of life. Okay, so this is the result achieved by pure bhakti. Okay, so here, 8.15, Krishna talking about material planet, how the material planet is temporary and full of miseries. And they are not only talking about the planet Earth, he is also talking about all the material planets up to the highest position at the universe. You know, each universe is like an egg. What is the highest planet in each universe? Who knows? Or who remembers?
I only know that there's a Milky Way on top, got Shivaloka, Vaikunta, and Ayodhya, and
those are spiritual planets.
opposite one in material is Brahma Loka.
Yeah. Okay, Brahma Loka is the highest planet in the universe. That is why Krishna says this verse. Okay, can we have Somasundram Prabhu? Sorry. Who read just now? Dasarathan Prabhu, is it? Prabhu, did you read? Who read last?
Yes, Mataji, I read.
Okay, Somasundram Prabhu.
From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again.
Okay, so I'm pretty straightforward, right? Thank you, Prabhu. It's pretty straightforward, right? So on Earth, we have all these 4 problems. What are the 4 problems? Is everybody there? Just put in the chat if you can speak. What are the 4 real problems in life? Birth, death, old age.
Death.
Yes, birth, death, old age, and disease. So up to Brahma Loka, birth and death take place. So there is no point we want to aim to go there. Maybe the happiness, maybe there's a lot of enjoyment there. Maybe we can live very long there, but ultimately we have to come down once our time is up. Okay, so Krishna glorifies the supreme abode by contrasting it to material world. Okay, until Brahmaloka, we have the places of miseries take place, but one who attains my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Okay, this is the timing. Okay, I'm going to leave it here so you can see why I put it here, because this is mentioned in 8.17 to show that no matter how long you spend time in the Brahma Loka, you think that we can enjoy more, but at the end, we still die. We still have death. All right. So Krishna says in material world, no matter how high you go, you still have to die when annihilation comes. Okay. So there is partial annihilation and there is full annihilation. Partial annihilation comes at every night of Lord Brahma, and full annihilation comes at the end of 100 years of Lord Brahma's life. Okay. 8.21. Can we have somebody to read? We are going to go beyond the time today, yeah. So just prepare for that. Saras Mataji. Sorry, Vijay Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. That which the Vedantis describe as unmanifest and unfallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns, that is my supreme abode.
Okay, so earlier, Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. Earlier, Krishna was talking about material planets, right? Temporary, remember? Temporary, full of misery. Then, places of misery, like birth and death, take place. Okay, of course, every verse is also comparing to the material, spiritual world. Okay, here, please remember what I'm trying to say is you can live up to 311 trillion years and we still die. Okay, here we think 100 years is very short and you think 311 trillion years is long. If you think that is long, you still die. Okay, all right, so here Krishna is specifically talking about spiritual world. It is unmanifest. Okay, let me show this one. Eternal, infallible, full of unlimited bliss, fulfills all desires. Why? Because the trees there are called Kalpa Vriksha trees. They are called wish-fulfilling trees. Okay? They are all attractive. That spiritual abode is all attractive. It's unmanifest, means it unmanifest to the gross eyes. It is transcendental. It's beyond the three modes of material nature. It is the supreme destination, Paramam Gatim, a place of no return. So all this information Krishna has mentioned in previous verses as well. So all these verses, right, it's not only mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, it is also glorified in various other scriptures. For example, some description of the spiritual abode is given in Brahma Samhita. I think I have shown some of the verses in previous classes. You can go through the PDF. It says Chintamani. Chintamani means the spiritual world is lightened up or powered up by, not by sun or moon or electricity, it's by the jewels. Okay. Next is ultimate destination. Ultimate destination. Yeah, supreme destination is mentioned in Katha Upanishad. Okay. And some of it from Bhagavad Gita. And it is, yeah, I think these are some of the scriptures that has actually described how the spiritual world would look like. Okay, so these are all to say that, just like a tourist agent, right? They always say, what is the attraction in this place? So like this, these are the information. Okay, and these are not speculated or imagination. It is from the scriptures. Okay, 8.28. Saras Mataji. Read this now. Sorry, my memory is so bad. I think I'm tired. Who's next?
I'll read, Mataji. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end he reaches the supreme eternal abode. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. Yeah, okay, this is the last verse. Yeah, so this verse is actually summing up what we have learned in chapter 8. So, before this, it's still one. Okay, so before this, for this level 2, there's quite a number of verses have been skipped from 21 to 27. So in between, from 23 to 26, Krishna will actually go on about how to leave the body at different timing, how the living body at the different timing will give you different results. Okay, so that example we actually saw in Bhishma Dev also. Okay, but all those were skipped. All right, and then from 27 to 28, how the supremacy of bhakti plays a role in attaining the supreme. Okay, so this explains, text 28 explains the knowledge that fixes the devotee in the path of devotion. So this verse, right, it sums up chapter 7 and chapter 8, the knowledge from chapter 7 and the promises, the goals that Krishna promises in chapter 8. It deals with Krishna consciousness and devotion service. They are very tight, close to each other. Okay, so how do you do this? You are still doing the Veda. We are still learning the Vedic scriptures, and we must do it under the guidance of a spiritual master. And we have to undergo many sacrifices, austerities. We have to give charity. We have to pursue philosophical and fruity activities. Okay, many people, they do this, okay, to attain God realization. But all these results, right, it can be fulfilled by a person who takes up the path of devotional service. Remember one of the in our level 1, we always have this one opening sloka, meaning all the sacrifices, austerity, charities that you are doing, it is still less than the benefit that we are getting from reading Bhagavad Gita. Okay, that is what is being explained here. Okay, so the performance of devotional service simply higher and better than doing all of this. Okay, so by doing devotional service, you attain all this and more. At the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode.
Hanuman.
Sorry, Prabhu?
The best example is Hanuman.
Hanuman. Could you explain that, Prabhu? How do you relate that?
Yeah, even though he's how stronger, how strength he got, but the only thing that he got all his gift, and also the power is none other than blessing of Prabhu Sri Ram. The main thing that people knows only for his devotion to God.
Yes, you remember. Yes, thank you, Prabhu. So I think if there was a question, right? If Hanuman is so strong that he can carry a hill, or even Bhima cannot lift his tail, if he's so strong, then why didn't Hanuman kill Ravan? So
The only thing
what
because
was
he's
Hanuman's answer?
that one to be honest, I don't know, but according he followed the prophecy, and also he just followed the only Prabhu Sri Ram's order. But Prabhu Sri Ram didn't allow Hanuman or anyone to kill Ravan.
Yes, actually that's what he said. My Prabhu didn't tell me to do it. Why, he can actually do it, yeah? So the Lord's agent can do all of this, but sometimes the Lord has to do things for many reasons, right? He's got his purposes or some exchanges with his devotees. And Lord Ravan, now none other than Jaya and Vijaya. I mean, one of Jaya or Vijaya, and they want to be killed by the Lord's hand. Okay, so that is their pleasure. Okay, that is their mercy. All right, so we have come to the end of chapter 8. Okay, so first 6 chapters is talking about karma yoga. The middle 6 chapters it's nicely covered in between karma yoga and jnana yoga. So if one is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita, especially the middle 6 chapters, in the association of devotees, then then his life is actually glorified. Glorified beyond all these penances, sacrifice, charity, speculations, everything. Okay, so he receives all the result that can be received in this by performing, by engaging in hearing Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge from Bhagavad Gita, and engaging in devotional service. Okay, right? So please, you can read this. A devotee is confident about Krishna's protection. He need not make any special endeavor for his ultimate salvation. So that's how our faith should be in the words of Krishna, the promises that he made. Okay. Unmanifest. Okay, so for example, we know moon for us is Chandraloka, right? And recently there is a satellite landed at moon, right? And there were arguments, right? And there were like arguments. Did they actually go to the moon? Even the Neil Armstrong's time there, they were thinking, is it done in studio? Is it real moon? Is it easily achievable? So actually what they have landed on these moons or other planets, actually these are the gross planets. So of course you can go with the advancement of technology, you can go, but you can't see the demigods that is residing on that planet. Okay, so we're talking about moon in this material world. And moon in the material world also is not manifested to our gross eyes, because you need to have lots of pious credits to actually go there, to actually see the moon that has been described in scriptures. Okay, not the moon that described in this modern science. So like that, the spiritual world, you can't go there by some aircrafts or rockets or satellites. You can't. It is unmanifested to those who are not qualified. It is manifested to those who can actually advance themselves to spiritual world. So basically, unmanifest means cannot be seen with gross eyes or cannot be achieved through gross body. Okay, you need to be a pure soul to go to this Goloka, like that. So that is called unmanifest. Is that okay, Prabhu? Is it simple enough? Okay, so we move on. I will skip this. You can read. Okay, this is all right. This story I got no time to explain. This is a nice Ajamila story. Actually, so this is the end of Ajamila life. He was actually similar to what happened to Maharaja Bharat. He was actually a good devotee. He was actually a Brahmana. But what happened? One day he actually saw a woman and a man in this kind of situation, and he got attracted to it. So what happened is that he later on that the thought, right, has actually consumed him and made him go for a prostitute, leaving behind father, mother, married wife, and child. He will go and spend time with her. He will marry her, and he will have children with this prostitute. And because he didn't have any knowledge or skills like a normal householder or normal Vaishya, he was actually a Brahma. All he knew was only scriptures. All right. So how did he maintain his life? He entered gambling, and then he engaged in a lot of abominable activities. So what happens when you gamble? You cheat, you fight, you kill. You have all these kind of problems cropping up because of these four vices, right? Bad activities. Okay, and then he grows old, and then he got a small last boy name is Narayana, but there's a reason why his name became Narayana. So when he was bedridden, basically he got no energy to do anything. He was approached by the Yamadutas. They are there to take away his life because his activities towards the end of the life was very bad. Okay, but they were stopped by this powerful effulgent Yamadutas. Said, stop, you cannot take him. Then the Yamadutas and Vishnudutta will have lengthy conversation, which is in Bhagavatam. Or there is also a book called Second Chance. In that book, it's a small book like that. I don't know how many pages, maybe 100 pages. the entire story is there. So if you don't have Bhagavatam, you can at least buy that book and read, because Prabhupada gives explanation also in that. So there will be a lengthy conversation between both of them, and Yamaduta will explain. These are the people that we were told to, our boss told us to grab these souls that have done all these bad things. But Yamaduta will say, no, whatever he has done, but the end, or what happens is that when he was in pain or in fear, when Yamaduta is going to grab his soul, he helplessly called out to his son who was playing nearby, and the son's name was Narayana. So see, the last thing that he said when his soul was about to leave the body, what he said, he managed to utter out the name Narayana, whom then the Vishnudutas came. And because Ajamila uttered Lord Narayana's name, he cannot be taken by Yamaduta. We will have to protect him. Okay, so the Yamadutas were like confused. So they will go back to their boss, which is Lord Yama. Say, boss, you told us to take all these people who are bad, right? So who are these powerful, effulgent people stopped us performing our duty? Is there a more powerful person than you in this creation? Then Yamaraj will say, yes, you are allowed to grab all these people who have done all these bad things, but there are people that you cannot touch, who have Tulasi Mala on their body, who have Tilaka on their body, who have chanted Krishna's name. So Yamaraj will be having a lengthy conversation with the Yamadutas, explaining who are the people the Yamadutas cannot approach. So with that, so to Ajamila, it was all like a dream. He was given a second chance, right? And then when he got well, he realized what kind of mistake that he has done. So he renounced that life, and he will continue to perform his continue his journey on self-realization. So this is called Ajamila story. You can actually read in Bhagavatam, or like I say, you can buy the book Second Chance and read. So this is the conversation between Yamaraj and Yamaduta. All right, and this is how Ajamila went back to his lifestyle, devotional life. And finally, he was welcomed to Vaikuntha by the Yamadutas on, what do you call this, aircraft. Chariot came and took him. Okay, so as usual, I will leave the recap here so we can do the recap next week. So please try to, I'm going to send the PDF in your WhatsApp, right? So what you can do is when you go to office tomorrow in the morning before you start your work, or while you're having your drink or your breakfast, just go through this, see how much you can remember. And then you just go back to your pages and see if you can recall this information. I mean, refresh this information, and this will reinforce your memory. Okay, so I think that's all. Anybody would like to buy Bhagavatam, please contact us. And please don't forget chanting. Every day, please chant. If you're having one round, constantly do that until you're comfortable, steady, and then you'll increase. And then be steady again, and then you can increase. So you should do this. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming, yeah. Okay. So any questions you can ask me now, or you can PM me also. But I highly recommend you all to buy the Second Chance book. Those are the first few books that I actually read when I came in. It's really, really interesting. It gives me a lot of faith and confidence in what I was about to adventure in, or to commit. Yeah, so any help to buy the books, please tell me. Okay, soon we will be starting Damodara month. I think next week, I don't have so much time now. So next week, I will explain about Damodara month so we all can take part.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.